Frictional forces and wear are greatly reduced by lubricants. Additionally, lubricants reduce the amount of heat that builds up, and in many cases, lubricants actually remove the heat too. Lubricants come in many different forms, including solids, liquids, and gases. Our focus today will be mainly on liquid lubricants, but before we take off on the many different types of liquid lubricants, brief comments will be made about the solids and the gases. Perhaps you are familiar with the softest mineral on the Mohs hardness scale. It's called talcum, or talc. It has been widely used on babies' bottoms when diapers were changed for many, many years. It lubricates the body parts as they rub together. This prevents the chafing of the skin and keeps the baby happy. As happy as babies can be. Talcum is just a very soft stone. It's like chalk that can be easily pulverized, turned into a powder, and then used as a lubricant for rubbing body parts or on ballroom dance floors. There is some evidence that talcum is associated with different forms of cancer, so it's not as freely available today as it used to be. Another solid lubricant is one form of pure carbon known as graphite. It's the stuff that's in your pencil lead. Graphite is only slightly harder than talcum on the Mohs hardness scale. It's like a 1.1. Clay is mixed with the graphite to make your pencil lead harder so that it lasts longer. Graphite powder is really slick stuff and is good to use where water might be involved, such as an exterior lock on your car or on your house. Graphite lubricants also repel water because it's hydrophobic. Graphite powder also holds up well in high heat applications. It turns out that when those same carbon atoms are arranged a bit differently, they make diamond rather than graphite. Diamond is a number 10 on the Mohs hardness scale. We used to believe that diamonds were the hardest thing, but we have recently discovered something a bit harder than diamond. Graphene is also made up of pure carbon, and it's slightly harder than diamond. Gases are used to lubricate things too. Perhaps you've seen an air hockey table or even what we'll call an air table. Or perhaps you have seen a hovercraft. It's a car or a boat that floats on a cushion of air that is pushed down rather than up from the air table. Our focus now will be on liquid lubricants. They can be water-based, petroleum-based, or plant-based. That is, the liquid part is either made up of water or of oil that comes from the ground or oil that comes from plants. It's not a good idea to mix the two or even to use the wrong lubricant. For example, if a petroleum-based lubricant is used where it comes directly in contact with rubber products like gaskets or seals, it could degrade them to the point that they fail prematurely. It's the same with a water-based lubricant. If it comes in direct contact with metal products, it could cause them to oxidize or rust, and this can cause a premature failure. Sometimes, plant-based oils are used as lubricants if a spill of petroleum-based lubricants could cause environmental damages. It could get into the water supply, or it could get into an aquifer or some watershed. Mainly, though, you will be dealing with oil-based lubricants with your car. There are many moving parts within a car's engine and its drivetrain. The motor oil that you use in your car's engine is currently a petroleum-based oil. The way that the amount of oil is measured in the engine is with something called a dipstick. It lets you know how much oil you have in your car's engine. Checking your car's oil is important. Your car will not run for very long without oil. In other words, you can drive your car all you want without any gasoline, but don't ever try to drive it without any oil. To check your car's oil, park it on a level surface. Turn off the engine for a few minutes. Remove the dipstick, wipe it clean, reinsert the dipstick, pull it out, and check the oil level. The end of the dipstick has markings on it to let you know how much oil you have or need. Then it's a good idea to check the oil too. If the oil is golden looking, smells like oil, and doesn't have glitter in it, then you can do a viscosity check. Put a drop of oil between your fingers and see how far apart you can spread your fingers before the column of oil breaks. If you can pull your fingers apart an inch or more, you have problems. Your oil is too sticky. And if you can't spread your fingers apart more than the thickness of a few sheets of paper, you have problems too. Your oil's too thin. If the oil is white, this means that you have water mixed in with it. That's on the list of bad things. It's time to change the oil or you will damage your engine. And it's a good idea to find out how the water got into the oil. White oil means that the water and oil have emulsified. If the oil is black, it means that there's a bunch of unwanted carbon in it and it's time to change it too, or you'll damage your engine. It's a good idea to change the oil filter too when you change your oil. Another type of lubricant is called grease. Animal fat is also called grease, and it's what you get when you fry bacon. You can use this as a lubricant, and it has been used for many years, but the trouble though is it turns rancid rather quickly, it smells bad, and it just doesn't last very long. Today's industrial grease is just some type of an oil suspended in a matrix like soap or a chemical sponge. Grease is not the best lubricant, but it's good enough for some applications. This is a quick overview of lubricants. This is not, by any means, everything there is to know about lubricants. Don't forget to check for the lab manual below.